Betrayal at Krondor. Episode 1. Into a Dark Night. Blood-soaked rags lay at the boy's feet. One by one he tended the wincing soldier's purple wounds, stitched, salved, bandaged, did what little he could in the leaping golden halo of firelight. Fortunately for his roadside patient, he could do more than most. Fingers slick with alum ointment, he worked fervently to tie off a catgut cord, then brushed the injury with a light touch that to the untrained eye would seem only a friendly pat. Others would recognize the telltale hand gesture as a magical ward against infection.
Done. No guarantees, though. The stitches may hold all the way to Lormet, and then again, push too hard and you could be bleeding like a stuck pig on Midsummers.
You did fine. It'll scar, but it's good for a noble's reputation. Lets the kingdom folk know that he isn't resting on his laurels, and it impresses the ladies. I'll be sure to look you up in Tyburn if I ever need stitching up again.
The boy accepted the compliment with a humble nod while he packaged away the rest of his medical supplies. His thoughts focused instead on a third man who slumped in the shadows across from them. Despite the manacles that bound the stranger's hands and the distance that separated them, the boy felt dreadfully exposed. His avenues of escape limited should Locklear's elven-looking prisoner decide to liberate himself.
What did he do?
Gorath? Let's just say that he had the disadvantage of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. I have to take him to Krondor.
Did he kill someone?
No.
He attacked you?
No, not exactly.
Well, who cut you up then?
Before Locklear could reply, Gorath leapt forward, his chains writhing between his wrists like metallic vipers.
Get out from underfoot, Owyn! Assassin in the camp!
Do not struggle so, Hazard. I wish to keep you alive, but be glad I do not. The goddess of death will show you great mercy.
Gorath seemed distant. Though the Mordell warrior didn't appear grieved about killing the assassin that had followed them from the Northlands, his eyes had a baleful look in them that seemed something between hatred and rage. Several times he glanced back at the corpse that lay behind them in the dust, his thoughts unguessable from his expression.
Do you wish to bury him? We could do that.
It is not our way. I simply am somewhat disturbed that he should come after me. He was a kinsman. There are other things that trouble me as well. Deleekin's assistants are slow, but not altogether stupid. Another like Hasseth, and you'll have only my corpse to drag before your Prince Arutha. Sorry, you don't get off that easy. As long as you are under my command, you are forbidden to die, mortal. I've gone to far too much trouble keeping you alive to bury you now. It's time we took those chains off of you. It'll be far easier for you to defend yourself if your hands are free to swing a sword again.
You're not just going to set him free, are you? I thought you said he was your prisoner.
He is my prisoner, Owyn, but circumstances are terribly complicated. Even if he chose to sneak off, he'd be lucky to make it to the next town alive. This is the third such assassin we've run into since we left the Northlands, and I have a feeling that more will be waiting for us. He'll be much safer with me, and I with him. As the boy would be, if he were to whisper the wrong word in the wrong ear, He could easily be the death of us.
Me? Who am I going to talk to? I'm not even heading in the same direction.
It wouldn't be a matter of who you talk to, Owyn. There will be ears listening for word of a Mordor traveling with a noble. Damnation, I should have thought about this before you entered the camp. For the time being, you're my squire. Once we arrive safely at the palace, you'll be free to go your own way.
But I have pressing business in Tyburn.
This is not a subject for debate. We must get to Krondor. My mission is of critical importance, and I don't have time to improvise an easy solution. The only other possible option would be to slit your throat and leave you dying, and I have absolutely no desire to do that. Now let's get moving before Talikan's assassins catch our scent again. They'll likely come looking when Hasseth doesn't return from his mission.
Locklear and Owyn escort Gorath to Krondor. Finding the gates jammed, they are forced to enter the palace through the royal sewers. During their foray into the depths, they run into James, Locklear's longtime friend. After a short conversation, he sends them on their way. The gates swung open. Revolted by the thick scent of excrement in the chamber, Locklear hastened to the ladder affixed to the far wall and ascended its filth-slung rungs. Behind him, Gorath and Owyn reluctantly did likewise, gagging on the noxious vapors in the shaft.
This is nothing. All the windows in the palace are open right now. You ought to smell it in the winter.
Darkness surrounded them as they slithered out of the privy, their only impressions of the chamber provided by the faint flicker of distant firelight. 10 yards before them, the hall joined with an elaborate colonnade stretching in either direction.
Somehow, I hadn't pictured my first visit to Krondor like this.
What, you didn't like the romantic tour? Not many get to see that way into the palace.
Drawing them short, Locklear's features brightened as he observed a pair of approaching figures lost in conversation. Self-conscious of his bedraggled condition, he straightened his uniform and cleared his throat with a stentorian air.
Greetings, Prince Arutha and Master Magician Pug.
As glad as I am at the sight of you safely home again, Locklear, I can't say that my nose is as well pleased. I thought we'd broken you and Senior James of clambering round in the sewers.
You know the way of old habits, Highness. We encountered a bit of trouble with the gates, so I chose a more expedient, though somewhat disagreeable path. It came to a happy end, however. James told us to send word that he is well and would see you in the morning.
Incurable sewer rats, the both of you. I shall have to order that each of you be accompanied by a score of washing maidens to keep you presentable enough for court. Welcome home, Lockie.
Thank you. As happy as I am to be here, I'm afraid I come with bad news from the Northlands.
I expected as much. With the false nighthawks prowling my streets above and below, it can only mean the Mordell are up to their old mischief. What do you know? Motioning to Gorath, Locklear introduced the former Mordell chieftain with a wave. Slowly, Gorath lowered his hood. The gasps and startled reactions of those crowding the hall helped mask the stealthy entrance of a second Mordell into the chamber. This one armed with a longbow.
Assassin, get down!